Hello people, this is Stella in England with my Christmas junk journal to show you. Time is pressing on and I was trying to get it finished because we're all going to be very busy soon, aren't we? This is the cover, which is quite hard, semi-hard really, and this time I've put some lace on back and front. And I've sewn Merry Christmas on the front on the sewing machine as well. It's quite full. I think there's 80 plus pages in there. But you know how it is. Once you get started, you just can't stop. This is the first page, and this is the page I made for the challenge in the Junk Journal Pen Pals group. This was a collage challenge, and this was one effort, and the other was the last page, which you'll see at the end. I've used quite a few old Christmas cards from last year as journaling pages because they're really useful. And there's some belly bands from these Christmas decorations that the children have, where you make loops and hang them around the room. Some of the pictures in the journal are from Calico Collage, digital downloads. I think that's one. But I tried not to use a digital kit because once you start using those, you tend to lose your own imagination. So a little of that is nice, but not all of it maybe. But the pages are gorgeous. This is the paper that I used after cutting and flattening and ironing it from the Amazon packets. There is so much packing in our boxes, and the boxes tend to be very big. But it is very useful if you can be bothered to cut it up and iron it. So I don't think it's strong enough to take things hanging off it, but it's fine for writing on. And this is a vintage card that I downloaded. Another card, isn't that cute? I've got family in Holland and I can never bear to throw their cards out because they're always a little bit different, aren't they, in different countries. This is tea-dyed paper, which I do on a daily basis. When I make it, I use 2 meat dishes and I fill them up as best I can. And I've made the tabs with various different bits of ribbon, lace. This is that tray cloth. It's plastic, sort of plastic, but the plates don't slip on it. You know the sort I mean. It comes in a roll. There's a quote. At Christmas play and make good cheer, for Christmas comes but once a year. And that's from 500 Points of Husbandry, the farmer's daily diet, Tusser. Well, that's true, and perhaps it's a good thing it only comes once a year, because it's a lot of work, isn't it? All worth it, of course, but a lot of work. This was some cardstock. It's very nice. It's 2-sided, so it's quite stiff, which is okay for some things, but not for everything. Here's another quote from The Wind in the Willows. The badger who wore a long dressing gown and whose slippers were indeed very down at heel carried a flat candlestick in his paw and had probably been on his way to bed when their summons sounded. Here's a little biddy envelope. It's dead cute, isn't it? It's got a little card inside that you can write on. And they were from Paper Chase. Anybody in England knows that. A gorgeous card to write on. Another quote, which if you want to read the quotes, you can stop the video and have a read. This is about ivy and evergreens. And these were just some little wooden, that's a snowflake. Nice little charms, which you can hang on the strings. I didn't use any metal embellishments with this one, mainly because I didn't order them early enough, and I thought it would be a bit too much once I got going. Got a shadow here, don't know why. Probably my head in the way. It's very difficult with the light, trying to get, you know, during the day it's alright, but I'm doing other things. And then at night it's dark, very early over here now. And carrying on from the wind in the willows, they waited patiently for what seemed a very long time, stamping in the snow to keep their feet warm. At last they heard the sound of slow shuffling footsteps approaching the door from the inside. I wonder who that was. Probably know already. This one, to get this effect, I left the tea bag in when I was drying the paper, and so you get this nice effect. And that's an even darker one. This is my cousin's little girl. Isn't that lovely? In Holland. She's on the beach with a Christmas tree. Just gorgeous. And her name is Sana, which I think is Swan. Another quote. "What, Ratty? My dear little man," exclaimed the badger in quite a different voice. "Come along in, both of you at once. Why, you must be perished. Well, I never. Lost in the snow, and in the wild wood too, and at this time of night. Come on in with you." A lovely story, isn't it? And this one's got a bit of a story. This here, this tag, I don't know, that I printed it off on A4 paper, but it didn't include his hat, which is a shame, wasn't it? But not to worry. I thought, well, if I put some red cloth behind it, perhaps no one will notice. And doesn't look too bad. I didn't want to throw it away. Here's another little envelope from that kit. That's a lovely little kit there, vintage. And a little robin inside. Another quote, that one's from Lark Rise to Candleford. Here's one of those tags that I made myself, more contemporary actually. But I like to use the bits that I've cut off other things. Here I've sewn some lines. I did this pocket just by folding up some tea dye paper, backing it onto some gold card. Here's another one that I made. Scribble on. And another one. And another one. There's an envelope that you can put things in. This time I've got the reindeer. And some more. Another card, this time with the envelope inside. Another old card. And this is a tea-dyed envelope for putting things in. And this time I've used my sealing wax and made a bow on it. Envelopes. Another card. Another little billy-do that I made. It's surprising how many of these silly little bits and pieces you have lying about on your desk. But if you collect them all, you can do something with them. That's the Christmas tree. And another one of these tags. Another tag from the kit and another envelope. That's cute, isn't it? Very cute. All this paper comes from the same pack of cardstock. Here I've got the recipe leaflet for pumpkin pie. We can get this now in England, the puree. So of course I have to make pumpkin pie for Larry, and he appreciates it, and I enjoy it too. Didn't have that before. A bit of stamping. And here's another picture of Sana. It says, "Leave a little sparkle wherever you go." Isn't that just gorgeous? Such a beautiful little girl, isn't she? Lots of room to journal and lots of cards to fill in with whatever you like. %10 off. Good. I made a few of these to go on here. That one says "Under the Mistletoe." I managed to find these lovely little paper snaps. Look, isn't that lovely, little Christmas tree? And there we are. There's the turkey. Of course, you have to have one of those if you can. This paper would be good in a journal for astronomy, wouldn't it? I'm sure Larry would love it if I made one of those. But it's not a subject that inspires me, to be honest. Here's a little notepad. Another little envelope. And that's the back page. This time I've put these little corners on to reinforce, because the cover, I didn't use a placemat this time. I used a cereal box, so it's not as strong as the last one, but I think it's strong enough. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed the flip through. And I hope you come back for my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.